Hello homies of the internet, this is lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Maverick Harley-Davidson, and this is Riding Dirty Part 2. Roll the tape! So, I wasn't too clear last time, via that it had been a long time since I ever used air ride, and it was, again, it was the first time in a long time. So, this one, it will be a little different from the Roguelite that you saw last time. This one actually has the switches right on the handlebars, which is super convenient. It does get some getting used to because the way that this feels right here feels the same as right here. So that takes a second to get used to, but it is more convenient than having it right up here. So we do have a dirty air ride on this, and I'm just gonna give you a quick show around of how to use the suspension, and again we'll go on a ride, and we'll talk a little bit about what it feels like to be on a bike that has air ride. So anywho, so first of all, you want to make sure that right down here we have two switches. One of them being the kickstand, which is the closest to you, and the one on the far right, which is a bigger switch, which is your valve to bleed all the air out. So when you park, you can either hold these two buttons down and the whole bike comes down, or you can just open that valve and it'll just do it on its own. It just basically bleeds that tank. So there's two ways that you can do it. Again, these switches, down is down and up is up, and I believe left is front and right is rear. That's how we have it set up anyways. So yeah, so let's do this. So a lot of people seem to forget that because it's on a center stand, people do this number and then lay it over. So don't be that dude.
And that's when I lost all audio, so I'm going to narrate the rest much like Matt Laylaw does, so except I'm going to be more enthused. So we're going to put the front suspension up, like you see right now with the left switch, and now we're going to use the right to put the rear up. So once the shocks are extended, you want to make sure that center stand is folded up. So we're going to use the switch underneath the seat. That's where we installed it. So once that is up, you are ready to roll. So in this scenario, we... the one thing that we did different from the Roguelite, so if you haven't checked that video out, it's Riding Dirty, and I'll probably put the link at the end of this video if you want to watch it. And we put the switches right in front of the GTS infotainment system as opposed to the handlebars. This setup is, like I mentioned earlier, probably something that I would want to get used to as opposed to having the switches up front. It's just more accessible, but it does take some getting used to because of the shape of the switches. It kind of feel very similar to the ones already stock on the handlebar. So right now, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of choppy. The ride is pretty stiff. So the forks on the front and the rear shocks are fully extended, and you are sitting at a higher distance from the ground as opposed to if you were on the stock suspension. So here in a little bit, I'll play with it as I'm rolling to lower the suspension and soften the ride. Right now, it's really choppy. It's pretty rough, I have to be honest. So if you have a dirty air suspension or air ride in general on your bike, this is something that you've probably noticed before. So here we go. You can see the rear right now. That's when we lower the suspension, and it actually changed the ride dramatically. Much like we did in the last video. That's before I actually took off on the ride. I went ahead and lowered the suspension, make sure that it was soft. So in the other video, if you want to go check it out as well, you can see me kind of pushing the front end up and down, make sure that suspension was soft enough for me to ride comfortably. So this setup is again on a Street Glide Special 2019 with the new infotainment system, blacked out components, 114 Milwaukee 8, and it is for sale right now. So Anywho, right up here, we're gonna do the railroad track test, and I guess we'll find out real quick how smooth or how soft the suspension is gonna be. So the this test right here I've done with several bikes as well, so I can basically tell you right there it was actually significantly softer than stock suspension. So this, again, as I was saying earlier, these railroad tracks on the exact same lane is where I always get on, at least try to compare every single bike that I ride the same, so that way we can get somewhat we can get results that were I can't even talk right now. It's too early when I'm editing this video. Anywho, that way I can tell if there's a major or minor difference, and they all can be tested in the same lane with the same railroad tracks, the same section of the railroad tracks. So one of the things that you have to keep in mind with the dirty air suspension is, again, you don't want that center stand to be down. And the reason why is, if let's say that you put the air ride up and you didn't fully extend those forks, and even if you had the forks fully extended, there's a possibility that you will destroy that center stand on a turn, and you're being really aggressive with it. For example, you go around a corner and the center stand is sticking out, man, you're gonna destroy those pucks on that center stand. Now that we're going to go through another set of railroad tracks, so you'll see if there's any there you go. All right, see, nothing to worry about there. So it is softer than stock suspension. Then again, you can modify that. The more extended the fork is, the more extended the shocks are, the stiffer the air ride, and obviously the lower the softer. Of course, you do not want to bottom out the suspension while riding. That's not gonna end up well for you or your passenger or your bike mainly. So the other thing to keep in mind is when they're fully aired out and you're on the move, it's like having no suspension whatsoever. So it's almost the same as having it fully extended, except you're doing more damage to your bike than to yourself. So air rides, especially the ones that we go with dirty air, we've seen the best results, and the most reliable system so far that we've tried out is definitely, this comes on top. So dirty air has probably one of the best air ride systems and the most reliable air ride system, and we highly suggest that if you're thinking about doing that, that's the route that you should probably take. The other thing about dirty air is that you can buy them, either you can just go ahead and buy the rear shocks, you can buy the compressor, you can buy the tank, you can buy all these components separately, or you can go ahead and buy it as a package deal, and I believe you do get a better deal if you go ahead and buy everything together. So if you just want the rear air ride, then you can do the full package without the front add-ons for the forks. And I mean, again, you'll probably get a better deal if you go ahead and buy it as a package, as opposed to just buying individual parts separately. So dirty air, in the past we've done a dirty air system on a V-Rod, we've done dirty air suspension on a Road Glide, Street Glide, and many others. So we've used this system quite a bit on other bikes, and we've had amazing results, and dirty air has been gracious and just giving us a couple pointers with their product, and man, their product even within this past year have improved vastly, and they were already a superior product. So now on this particular test ride, having the 114, I gave it throttle pretty hard a couple times, just but very short spurts to see how that suspension would react, and it doesn't react any different than you would with stock suspension. Again, the only biggest difference is, depending on how you have it set, is how you're gonna feel when you hit that throttle, when you corner and whatnot. So anywho, look at this traffic, it's freaking horrible. And that is Dallas for you. We're right off of I-35, so come check us out. So this bike is for sale right now, so you go ahead and call us at 972-245-1492. Schedule a test ride, man. Make it yours and get some wind therapy. Also, on this particular bike, we have the adaptive headlight, which is new for Harley-Davidson. It's very much like the JW speaker adaptive headlight. It is awesome. And again, the headlight is blacked out, which is also really cool, especially on this bike where everything's blacked out. We have LED turn signals. I believe they're custom dynamics on this particular bike, and so that's what we have in this bike is the turn signals, the headlight, and the air suspension front and back, center stand, switches on the handlebars, and that is it. I mean, there's not much that you need to do to this bike. It looks fantastic as it sits. So anywho, if you haven't already, go ahead to Mav Harley on Instagram. That's MAVHARLEY. And on Facebook, just look us up as Maverick Harley-Davidson. And of course, if you're watching this video, subscribe ahora mismo, right now, right freaking now. Click that subscribe button. Help us out. It's of immense help. You have no idea. So please like, again, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer them as fast as I can. I promise. I'm usually all over the place, but I'll try to answer all the questions that you have as soon as I get them. So also check us out on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com ML-HD, as well as iTunes. Just go on the podcast app on your iPhone and click and search MLHD, and you'll be right there. So it's basically, we go ahead and talk to everybody that works here. It's always a good time, and hey, hopefully make you laugh. If you have a long commute, put it on there, and we'll try to make your day. So anywho, yeah, that is, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I'm just kind of trying to narrow. I'm watching this video as I'm recording this, by the way, so it's just kind of awkward. I don't know how Matt Laylaw does it. I've seen his videos and he does similar things, so this is ridiculous. I always try to do it in the spur of the moment so I can give you more of a raw reaction of what it is to ride this thing. So anywho, in the meantime, get on your Harley and get some when they're paid. Yeah. Later.